The pillars, obligatory aspects and voluntary acts of Hajj. The pillars of Hajj are as follows. Ihram. The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, "Deeds are according to intentions, and every person will be rewarded according to his intention." The sa'i between Safa and Marwa. From the Prophet's peace and blessings be upon him statement, perform sa'i between them, for indeed Allah has decreed that you perform sa'i between them. Al-wuquf bi-Arafah, or the standing on Arafah, is also one of the pillars of Hajj, because the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Hajj is Arafah. The last pillar of Hajj is Tawaful Ifadah. Allah said, and circumambulate the ancient house. Concerning omitting one of the pillars of Hajj, if it is Ihram, then his religious rights are not established since he has not made his niyyah or intention, and there is no act of worship without the correct niyyah. If, however, it is another pillar, then he has not completed his religious rights until he fulfills it. As for the obligatory acts of Hajj, they include assuming Ihram from the miqat. The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, after listing the mawaqit, those mawaqit are for their residents and non-residents who pass through them with the intention of making Hajj or Umrah. Standing on Arafah until sunset for those that stayed there in the day is another obligatory act, because the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, stayed there until sunset. The third obligatory act of Hajj involves spending the night at Muzdalifah, because the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, spent the night there. He said, "My nation should take its religious rights from me, because I do not know if I shall be with them after this year." He, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, permitted the weak Muslims to leave for Mina only after the middle of the night. This indicates that spending the night in Muzdalifah is obligatory. Allah ordered the pilgrims to engage in his remembrance at Al-Mash'ar al-Haram or Muzdalifah. Another obligatory act is passing the night in Mina during the days of Tashriq, as it is established that the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, permitted the camel herders to not spend the night at Mina. This shows that the original ruling is that spending the night in Mina is obligatory. The fifth obligatory act is stoning the Jamarat. Allah says, "And remember Allah during specific numbered days." The specific numbered days are the days of At-Tashriq. Stoning the pillars is a form of remembrance of Allah, the Most High, due to the Prophet's statement, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. Indeed, circumambulating the house, the circuits between As-Safa and Al-Marwa, and stoning the pillars all have been ordained to serve as a form of remembrance of Allah. Shaving and trimming the hair are also some of the obligatory acts of Hajj. Allah says, "Certainly you shall enter Al-Masjid Al-Haram if Allah wills secure, some having their heads shaved and some having their hair cut short." And the last obligatory act is the farewell circumambulation, or the Tawaf al-Wada', as confirmed on the authority of Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. The people were ordered to make the last of their worship to be at the house, but this has been waived for the menstruating women. Whoever does not perform an obligatory act has to offer blood, that is slaughter, to make up for this omission. Any of the actions of Hajj which are not pillars or obligatory acts are considered voluntary, and anyone who avoids doing them does not have to do anything to make up for this omission. These voluntary acts are as follows: bathing and perfuming before assuming Ihram, wearing a wrapper or garment and cover cloth which are white, saying the Talbiyah, starting when assuming Ihram and continuing until stoning Jamratul Aqabah, the arrival Tawaf or circumambulation of those performing Ifrad or Hajj al-Qiran, Ramal being performed in the first 3 rounds during this circumambulation, where Ramal means to walk quickly, observing al-Ittiba' during the Tawaf of arrival, and this is done by passing the cover cloth under the right armpit and placing the ends of the cloth on one's left shoulder, spending the eve of Arafah at Mina, kissing the black stone, praying Maghrib and Isha at Muzdalifah prayers merged and advanced, staying at Al-Mash'ar al-Haram or the revered landmark in Muzdalifah from Fajr until sunrise if possible, Otherwise, it is acceptable to stay at any place in Muzdalifah.